Morning guys, and welcome. It's 20 past 5 in the morning. Crazy early mornings for these sunrises. It was a lovely sunrise this morning as well. Having said that, it's not the sunrise that I'm after. This week I'm filming at New Brighton, which is in Wallasey, or Walsey I think they pronounce it here. It's just up the road from Liverpool if you're not too familiar with the area. I'm here photographing the breakwaters, and I'll be grabbing a shot of the lighthouse too. My aim is not to photograph these subjects in a normal manner. I want to capture them in a very minimalistic way. This video is called Minimalistic Photography. I've photographed New Brighton quite a few times before. I do like this area. It's fairly close to where I live, literally an hour and 30 minutes away. So as far as I'm concerned, that's what I call a local area. And there's something quite unique and special about going back to the same place over and over again, because it makes you think outside the box and it makes you work an awful lot harder. Sticking with the theme of minimalist, I'm just trying one or two oddball compositions, things I wouldn't ordinarily do. And none of these compositions are the one that I was really targeting today, but I don't think the tide is going to be high enough to actually grab the shot that I came here for originally. But that's good, because that just makes you work a little bit harder. And surprisingly, and I don't know why, but I packed my 1 to 400mm lens in my bag and left the 70 to 200mm lens in the van. But yeah, it's working out fine. Having said that though, I am actually zoomed in at 200mm, so the 70 to 200mm lens would have happily sufficed. But hey ho, there you go. This is the look on my face when I realise the high tide just isn't high enough to grab the shot I planned. Trying something just a little bit different. I'm shooting these breakwaters at, it's almost like a 45-degree angle, because they're set more or less at a 45-degree angle. So I try to shoot straight down as opposed to across the breakwaters. In other words, so I could see physically a gap in between each of the breakwaters. And I'm photographing 3 of them, slightly more than 3, but I'll just clone out the oddball ones on the ends and just leave the 3 in the middle that I'm really after. The setup, I've probably told you this a million times, but my target is 1/8 of a second. So switch my shutter speed to 1/8 of a second. Then my aperture, in this instance, I can attain f9 at ISO 50. So ISO 50, f9 will give me 1/8 of a second, and 1/8 of a second will give me a 2-minute exposure when I drop my 10-stop filter on there. I've already pre-focused, switched my focus onto manual, and then just double check my settings. F9, ISO 50, straight to bulb mode, F9, ISO 50, timer set to 2 minutes, and away she goes. Pre-focus, focus on the manual. I think I said that, but just in case I didn't, job done. I grabbed 1 or 2 shots. They were okay, nothing special. I'll show you them at the end of this video. The most important thing is I captured them in a minimalistic style. Right, on to location number 2. I don't think I've ever been so precariously placed taking photographs. Oh my lord. There's a particular shot I wanted to grab, but the problem is, standing where I'm stood now, I've got to be here under certain conditions. One, when the tide is in, but on its way out, but when it's low enough that I can safely get to where I am without any issues. Having said that though, every now and again you get all these big rogue waves that come up and splash me and my camera, which is a little bit annoying to say the least, but as we always say, no pain, no gain. But yeah, very interesting shot, sticking with the theme of minimalistic, breakwaters, curving off down to the left hand side. The position where I'm currently stood is a shot that I've been desperate to grab for a long time, but it's not an easy one to grab, and that's why you don't very often see pictures from here. Talking you through my setup, nice and simple. ISO 100 f11, and I'm at a 2-minute exposure with my 10-stop filter thrown in the front. I've got a 0.9 soft grad filter on the front as well to bring a bit more of that light down in the sky. It's my normal setup. I pretty much use this same setup either with or without the 10-stop filter, of course, for pretty much every shot I take. Same lens, 24 to 105mm lens, which is my go-to lens, and the only time that ever changes is when I get my obviously 70 to 200mm lens out, or my 1 to 400, depends on what I'm photographing. Yeah, nice and simple. Looking quite good, but very precariously stood. And with my wellies on, I've mentioned this before, why don't they make wellies that's non-slippery? And I'm stood on these green mossy stones and I'm feeling very, very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable, but I'm safe. That's the most important thing. I'm perfectly safe, but I do like this. Beautiful. I've got my lighthouse to the right hand side, which seems a bit odd. I'm not photographing the lighthouse because I photographed that earlier, but this is the shot that I particularly wanted. The other day I didn't want to come down to grab this. I felt a little bit uncomfortable. Today I just thought, sod it, let's just go for it. Right then, time to grab just one more shot. It's a similar shot to the previous one, only from the more common lower down composition. It's okay, but in hindsight, I think I prefer the shot from higher up. The setup is exactly the same as before, and for those that's interested, which I know is usually quite a lot of you, I'll display the settings on each picture, and they're coming up in about 30 seconds from now. Just before you see these pictures, for those of you who watched my last 2 fine art photography videos, if you haven't, by the way, I'll leave a link up there now, then you'll know when you see these pictures that there isn't really too much difference between what I would classify as minimalistic and that of fine art photography. Now, in my opinion, and this is only my opinion, it is a fine line. I want to say fine line, I mean that quite literally, as in you'll notice when you see my pictures that I've purposefully left the horizon in, and I think to me I did remove the horizon in a couple of the pictures, but they look too close to what I would call fine art. So in my opinion, leaving the horizon in, albeit just left in, then I think the picture is more akin to minimalistic, which is what this video is all about, as opposed to fine art photography. That's just my opinion. And maybe your opinion is completely different to mine, or maybe it's exactly the same. But either way, please leave a comment. That is it. The video this week has been slightly different. Don't worry, I'm not changing my style. This isn't a new style. I just thought I'd try something a little bit different. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you did. Leave a comment if you didn't. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new to the channel.